what's more annoying than a disappointing movie? A disappointing movie that really could have been a whole lot better. This happens far too often than it really should, in my opinion. Every once in a while, you see a trailer for a movie on the internet, and the trailer looks really, really good. It's not spoiling a lot of information about the movie. It's not giving you too many details. It's just giving you the barest hint of what the movie's about. And it sounds like a neat idea. You're interested in the story. It may have an actor you like. The general concept sounds really neat and it hasn't been tackled before. And you get really interested and very excited for it because it sounds like it's right up your alley. And then you finally see the movie, and you're like, Trainwreck was the last film that fit in this category in my opinion, but at the very least, it was still somewhat funny. This needed to be funnier. Well, okay, that's at least one of the things that it needed. There are a number of things that it definitely needed in order to be better, but I will still go so far as to say there are a few things about it that were still decent. Night Owls follows the story of two people trapped in a house together overnight. The setup is they both just had a one-night stand, and the guy discovers that they're actually in his boss's house. Now at first, we don't know who his boss is, but we get the impression that he's supposed to be somewhat important. Anyway, after discovering this, he then makes another discovery, that the girl he slept with has tried to commit suicide. After calling in a private doctor, he tells her that he has to keep her awake all night, or else she'll die. And then about 20 minutes after the doctor leaves, there's some decently funny shtick about him trying to keep her awake, all the while working its way into deep exploration territory. Unfortunately, it doesn't do the deep exploration territory very well. What I mean by deep exploration territory, I mean that it suddenly becomes clear that this is intended to be a character piece. A piece that explores two people, their flaws, their past, their present, their future, and how they've become broken. It wants to be a comedic drama about people discovering who they really are and discovering how they really have to deal with the world and their own problems. But unfortunately, it just doesn't really make the landing, and I'll explain why in just a moment. First, let me talk about what the movie actually did right. The cinematography is good. The lighting looks all natural. It doesn't look like it was deliberately lit in any particular way. The camera movement is fluid and fits the mood of the scene appropriately. It makes very good use of long takes, and the overall color palette is very interesting to look at. The acting is about 50% good, and I'll get to the other 50% in just a moment. Moments of the dialogue are good, and there are occasionally some genuinely funny moments. Now let's move on to what the film did wrong. It is repetitive. After the first 30-40 minutes of the film, just repeat this scene. Do not back out of this door! Go! Over and over and over again for about another 80 minutes. That's basically the movie in a nutshell. This also leads into why the acting is only 50% good, because the 50% bad part is basically them doing the same thing, yelling at each other, being angry at each other, never really changing mood or perspective. Plus, once we learn who the guy's boss is and why people are doing what they're doing and what their deep inner concerns are, it becomes less interesting. Not necessarily because we're learning the mystery, but because the mystery isn't that interesting to begin with. But the most annoying thing of all is that this film has a really good setup that I would absolutely love, and it could have been made into a very good movie. But unfortunately, it just landed on a couple of bad decisions that ultimately held it down. The setup of two people in one location with a genuinely strenuous conflict is a great idea for any kind of film. The only problem is that then becomes very, very challenging because good writing, good directing, and good acting is very, very hard. And when you fail at it, you fail at it a lot more noticeably. To my knowledge, this film is not playing in theaters at the moment, but it is available for rent on iTunes. So, personally, I would recommend against checking it out, but if you still want to check it out anyway, there are still some decent moments, and you may find something about it that you enjoyed more than I did. So by all means, if you'd like, go ahead and check it out for yourself. In the meantime, I want to see something else, something that does this kind of idea a lot better. Something with better dialogue, even better cinematography, better acting, better direction, better everything. What's playing right now that fits that bill? Ladies and gentlemen, I am TheNorm. Thanks for watching.